Allow me to explain how this impromptu Victoria Beckham Beauty haul happened. A kind subscriber tipped me off in the comments to say that there are New York City locations that sell VBB in person. And I should have just checked the Victoria Beckham Beauty site, as they do have a location search feature that clearly lists these New York City locations, and I found that one Bluemercury location in Tribeca does indeed carry VBB, alongside I think East Hampton, maybe a Jersey location, and Bergdorf Goodman in New York City. So it comes to no surprise that I ventured downtown, and lo and behold, when entering the Bluemercury location, Tribeca, I saw the Victoria Beckham Beauty display in the flesh. Now, although Victoria Beckham Beauty is in this Bluemercury location, they don't carry the entire line, such as the elusive denim Satin Kajal liner that's been sold out on the site for God knows how long. They also don't carry the dual-ended brushes, but I wanted the opportunity to check to see if these brushes are indeed made in China or Japan. So I looked on the box specifically for the number 12 foundation brush, and it says made in China. It came to no surprise that China is one of the main manufacturers for these higher quality synthetic fibers, and I also wouldn't be surprised if fude means brush in Japanese, that Japanese made brushes imported these synthetic fibers from China. I don't know which country developed the technology first, but it seems that China is making wider strides in developing increasingly good synthetic fiber quality that mimics not only Psychoho goat hair but blue squirrel, as we saw in the Maria Catala brush review that I could post here above or down below. But my apologies for the slight tangent, but in case you were wondering, because I know that discussion was going on online whether VBB brushes are made in China or Japan, just so happens that Bluemercury was running a promotion today that if you spend $200, you get 20% off your total. $300 I think is 50% off your total, and will also be eligible for an exclusive free gift. So I was given this Bluemercury brand cosmetic bag. I'm a cosmetic bag hoarder. Leave me alone. Including deluxe size samples of popular items that they sell, such as this Elta MD skincare sunscreen. That will be great to try, or also just to throw in the bag for traveling, because you know the TSA does not like liquids. But there are two specific items that I had on my wish list, which were the Satin Kajal liner in Terracotta and the Posh Balm in Canelle. Not only did Bluemercury carry these two, but of course they carried other items on my wish list, and I took the opportunity of the promotion that was running and bought a few more things. But let's start off with the Satin Kajal liner in Terracotta that's described to be an earthy, warm matte clay. And my goodness, this is right up my alley. I cannot wait to try this on my eyes. I apologize in advance as I'm editing this video. I think I'm saying Canelle, but I'm saying Canal. I think it's Canelle because it is spelled C-A-N-E-L-L-E. My apologies, family, because I have a tendency to mispronounce words. And yeah, it's Canelle, not Canal. And I'm going to say Canal a few times in this video, so just as a heads up. Thank you in advance, and I'm sorry. And the Posh Balm in Canal, which is described to be a sheer tan apricot. And you got a clicking mechanism here. I don't know if you could hear that. For the balm. First time I'm trying VBB balms. That is what the wash of color looks like. And the component is heavier than how it looks online, so it feels quite heavy. But be careful, once you click up, you can't click back down. What else did you buy, Alicia? Well, I decided to also purchase the lip definer in 05. I already own 4 and 6. 5 is described to be a caramel for tan to deep lip tones. Let me do that again. I thought it paired beautifully well with the Posh lipstick I also purchased. I had to get Spice. I already have Pose, but Spice is described to be a mid-tone ginger. I thought this was quite a unique shade on me. It has a little bit of like that mustard tone. I have it on now, but it wore off because I applied it earlier in the day when I was in store. And I did buy one of her Microblade brow pencils in light brown. I was going between medium brown and light brown. I actually have light brown on this side and medium brown on the other. And medium brown is pretty, but I like the light brown's softer look on my brow, so that's why I decided to go with this color. Dual-ended, one end being the tiny spoolie and the other being what I think is a great shaped triangular pencil. It's like a mix between Benefit's Goof Proof, which is quite larger, but it has that same triangular shape with their Precisely My Brow. But it has the triangular shape with precisely my brow size, and I loved how my brows look. We'll be happy to demo again or just demo in another clip on another video. And of course, I had to get the cheeky Posh cream blush stick in Playground. I already had this in mini skirt, which is my all-time faves. And actually, when I visit the VBB site, just checking on that denim restock, miniskirt and Playground are always in stock, out of stock. Those shades are just so popular, and this is described to be as a mid-tone terracotta nude, and I have a lot more terracotta nudes or just nude beiges in cream blushes on standby for comparison, but look at that. I just knew. I actually ordered this from Nordstrom, but I'll be returning that. Haven't used it. It hasn't even arrived yet. But I decided, since I was lucky enough to grab this since it was in stock at Bluemercury, to just grab it and film this video. And lastly, I picked up the eye wardrobe refill in olive because I am dying to compare this to Lisa's newly released Desert Rose. Yes, I ordered it because I'm emerald level, and I also want to compare this to YSL's Unexplored Gardens. Don't know when I can get my hands on it or when it'll be available here in States, but ooh, that's gonna be a fun video. Oh, I forgot one more. I bought one more thing. Surprisingly, I like the contour stylus. Initially, my first haul, when deciding what to add to basket, I didn't think the contour stylus on the videos on the product page looked impressive. It almost like it blended away. But Maple, the color I bought, which is actually developed for light to medium skin tones, I find this a surprising color for light to medium skin tones because the next one down is quite dark and would have probably looked a little dirty on my skin tone, but it was suitable for medium to tan. I thought that was interesting. I have Maple and the Isamaya stick on standby for comparison, and the actual component feels heavier than how it looks online, much like what I expressed about the Posh lip balm. Because of the ivory casing, they give off plastic, which I think this material is, but it feels heavier than your typically made like plastic component for products that look like these. So now that I presented what I have in this haul, it's time for you to come a little closer for these demo and comparisons. Just so you can see, this is what the contour stylus stick looks like in Maple on bare skin. I applied it in store, and despite my blemishes and hyperpigmentation, I like the color a lot, and it didn't blend away into nothingness. It actually stayed behind, and I was quite impressed, not only with the color, but with the texture of the product. But allow me to just quickly wipe this off because I do want to slap on some foundation to see how everything looks on a more even canvas. I'm gonna wipe off also Spice from the lip. I'm so bummed that I cannot find Lisa's Sculpt and Shape lip liner in 1N. I have it, I just don't know where it is. I have 2N&W or 2W on standby to compare to 5, 4, and 6, or 4, 5, 6. I don't know where it is, I'm sad, but I have to find it. Going in with the Posh lip balm in Canelle. Ooh, I have to remember not to click up. Ooh, this is a tight consistency. It does feel balmy in terms of how creamy the stick feels. Let's see if it builds in color. There's no strange taste, there's no smell to it. It's pretty neutral across the board, much like a Suku lip product. But the balm is quite tight and creamy, and the shine is left behind. So although it might feel like a tighter creamy balm stick, there's more shine than a typically formulated balm, if that makes any sense. And the tint is there for the most part. I can detect like a tan apricot look to the lip. I think it's pretty to wear on its own. Like if I didn't have any makeup on as the state I'm in now, I think this is a great way to just give the lip a little shine, but tan lip but better. Allow me to set up some comparison swatches because I thought about Hermès's Silky Shine Lipstick 15 Brun d'Ambre. That reminds me of Canelle, right? This might have a little more warmth to it, and it's not as tight as the VBB. So you see the VBB has a little more, I guess, a little more brown in there, like a maybe orange brown, and the Hermès is more brown based despite it looking more orange compared to the VBB. Isn't that interesting? Huh. The Posh Balm has an advantage over the Hermès in that it doesn't smell like flowers or taste like flowers. The Hermès unfortunately does, but I forgive it because I think this is a beautiful lip product. But if you had Brun d'Ambre, I think you're good with this. But if you didn't like the fragrance, then sure, maybe take a look at the Posh lipstick. But again, be careful with clicking up too much because you can't click down. And if too far up, then it will get smushed. And it clicks mechanically. There's no magnetic snap to it. Ooh, what should we try next? Maybe we should apply some foundation. I'm happy that I decided to visit Bluemercury because every little bit of discount helps when you are splurging in luxury beauty. And I was also lucky enough to use a 20% off discount code on my first VBB haul. So pretty cool that I was able to get a little bit of some of that money knocked off on my two huge purchases. Fun fact, I've been using Givenchy's Glow Serum Foundation and had it on during what I would consider a pretty hot day here in NYC. And I really liked my skin, how it looked. It was on the slightly dewy side, but I forgave it and it felt lightweight. It didn't feel like I had foundation on my face. The Givenchy brand did reformulate their Glow Serum Foundation to be more skincare including and not to feel like an actual foundation makeup product. So for me, even though it is marketed to be a foundation, I would consider this to be maybe a more advanced tint because I love how my skin looked. This was when I applied the highlighters, and after a few hours wearing the highlighters and wearing this foundation, my skin looked even and it just had this glow to it, which I know might not be a favorable look to those who rather appear matte, and for those skin types that are more oily, that if with the Glow Serum Foundation that you won't look glowy after a few hours but a straight up grease ball. I understand how your preference will differ from mine, but I just wanted to share how pleased I was with the Glow Serum during summer conditions. Just wanted to share that update. Following up with my Burberry concealer in 85M Cool. Can't put this one down either. The color is spot on. Although I do want to revisit the Gucci concealer because that is a lovely formula in that it's a little more self-setting than the Burberry. Perhaps I can see how it performs on hotter days as I have not yet tried it during those more humid conditions, and maybe it would be a more favorable finish for under eyes and not as shiny. I'll keep you updated on that. Foundation is on. What should we go in with first? I would love for you to see this stick in action. Again, the Contour Stylus stick. It just says light to medium skin tones, but allow me to swatch for you. This is the color. And I think it's absolutely perfect for what I like in a contour stick. And here is Isamaya's contour stick, also named Maple, but Isamaya describes her stick as a caramel brown. And interesting, you see how there's a little more cool tone in the Isamaya versus the VBB Stylus. And I really like this color a lot. It actually reminds me of Isamaya's lip liner in Geisha, which is like a red base brown, but not too red. And this is how I went in store. I just went straight on the cheek. Wouldn't recommend if on foundation, but I can use my finger just to demonstrate how easy the texture blends into the skin. And it's not too disruptive, right? It doesn't take away foundation. It doesn't appear too uneven, although you very much well can warm up the stick on the back of your hand first, but it is thin, so you might you might take a little bit of time in making that application happen. But I think that's pretty. You see that there's shading there, but it doesn't appear cool tone. It appears like more of a bronzer look to the skin. And I could do the same thing here on my forehead. And again, the Stylus stick component feels heavy. It doesn't feel lightweight and flimsy, and I was pleasantly surprised by that because, again, just by photos alone, it's hard to detect how packaging is if it was in your actual hand. And if I wanted to build up the color, I could, and just keep that application higher near the more hollow part of my cheekbone. And I'm happy with that texture. Again, my foundation didn't move. It doesn't appear splotchy or uneven, or it doesn't have those fingerprints left behind. If you decide to tap with your finger, you still could go in with a brush, and I would go in with like a, not making me like a medium dense synthetic brush or a medium dense natural brush if you wanted to keep it lighter on the application. And you can screw it down so it doesn't click up and stay. And the screw mechanism is tight. It feels sturdy. This was a win. Wow, I was actually surprised by this, pleasantly so, happy that it's in my collection. Next, we have to go with the Cheeky Posh Cream Blush Stick in Playground, the mid-tone terracotta nude. And what I actually like to do, and what I do with mini skirt, is prep this first on back of hand. Even if I wanted to go in with my finger, which I can on this side, and just as I suspected, a barely there nude shade, perfect for every day, that if you don't want a lot of blush color on your cheeks, if you happen to be my skin tone, then Playground is it. And as for the texture, it's creamy, but it doesn't have too much of a shiny finish. I would say it sits on natural. So it's not going to appear as matte as, like, let's say the Danessa Yummy Skin Blurring Balm Flush product. It's not going to appear as glassy as the House Labs either. So it sits between those formulas, I think. But I think it fitting to grab Maria Catala's number 4 Cream Cheek Blush to now demonstrate Cheeky Posh, where'd it go, with a brush application, and now warming up a little bit more on back of hand, shaking that with the number 4 and pouncing on the center of my face. I much prefer this formula over the Dior. I did not try the Dior, I just swatched it in store, but the fact that product smells like a lip plumping one, I just don't like that minty type of a fragrance on my face. And also it felt to be a little bit on the stickier side, whereas I think the VBB cream stick is just a far more superior product where there's no scent at all. Playground pairs beautifully with maple from the contour stick, and the color is just perfect for me. It's especially on lighter blush days where I want a little something on the face but not too much, so it's like low levels of blush. I actually wanted to start the comparison here. Let me wipe off these Balm comparisons because I have quite a few of like nude types of cream products in my collection. So we'll start off with Playground from VBB. I wanted to show you Suku's Cream Touch Blush in Kimitsu, which is described to be an elegant beige. So this has not as much pink. It's more of a brown-based beige compared to Playground. But this remains to be one of my most favorite cream cheek products, but like nudie beige cream cheek colors in my collection. I have 3 Vital Surgeon Skin Spark Blush Balm examples that I wanted to share. The one that stood out was Kindle. This is more of like a toasted, so this has a lot more color than a Playground, as well as Kimitsu from Suku. I also thought about Smolder, which is more of like a burnt peach, a beautiful shade. And again, definitely belongs in this wheelhouse of shades, but appears a little more orange compared to Playground. Interesting. And lastly, we have Evaporate, which probably resembles Playground the most, but definitely has a little more brown in the base. And I know this isn't a cream blush product, but I wanted to swatch Rose Haze 06 from the YSL Make Me Blush line, because it does remind me of Playground. Here, let me swatch it right next to it. Is a powder, but I think it's in the same wheelhouse in terms of like the barely there shades. Oh, and I have one more, also from YSL, but this is in 44 Nude Lavalier. Did YSL develop a cream or liquid blush version for Rose Haze? I don't know. Oops, can't. Oh my gosh, that is so crooked. This definitely is more pink, but it has that barely there look on my cheeks regardless. These, though, I think are special. Again, this is Playground, Commit to, Kindle, Smolder, Evaporate, and Rose Haze and Nude Lavalier from both YSL. Oh, you know what? While we're here, I have so many comparisons, my gosh. I don't have Danessa's Rosé and Brunch, which I predict could kind of mimic what's going on with Playground, but I do have Spice Latte. Spice Latte definitely has a little more brown, a little more red actually, so that's going to give you a more toastier version of Playground. And just one more, have to swatch Haus Labs Glassy Cayenne. Glassy Cinnamon predictably will be more warm, like more of like a bronzy shade, but I thought Glassy Cayenne will be an interesting. Okay, so that's going to be more red base versus Playground for sure. Playground is still sitting on that mid-tone terracotta range. And why not take this opportunity to slap on some Prada highlighter? I recently posted a comparison video reviewing the Prada highlighter with the YSL highlighter, the Hyper Luminizer. This is in 01 Champagne, and many of you had said that the Prada wins because it is just exceptionally formulated. One of the most beautiful highlighters that I now own. And I was trying to rack my brain around if I have something similar already in my collection. Dare I say that VBB's Reflect highlighter stick is the closest, despite it being a cream product and the Prada being a hybrid cream to powder product. When blended on the skin, this leaves behind a similar pearl finish that is almost like I painted on crushed liquid pearl on my skin. I'm not even kidding. But this has a little more of a pearl reflect effect on the blend down versus the Prada. The Prada is like just straight up liquid pearl. And I just wanted another opportunity to apply this on my cheekbones because it is the glow from within highlight of the year. I don't know who else is gonna top this because my gosh, Prada is in the heavens when it comes to this highlighter. Like, stop it right now. What should we apply next? I would like to show you Spice and 05 if you don't mind. So this is Canelle. How it wore, I guess, for the last 20 minutes as I'm looking at the timer here. Not too bad, but we gotta see Spice in action. Ooh, it's sticky. It doesn't feel sticky on the lip, but it has traction for sure. Again, number 5 is Caramel for Tan to Deep Lip Liners or Lip Tones. This is Lisa's 2N, and that has more of like an actual neutral brown base. I am bummed to the heavens I cannot find 1N. It is bothering me so much. And Isamaya's Gesha is a red toned mid brown, which I just adore. But we're going in with number 5 and then following up with Spice. Oh, my apologies. Let me first, where so many lip products. Where is number 4? Okay, this is VBB's number 4, which is a rosy brown. So completely different from number 5. But now applying number 5. I don't know, that's not too far from number 6. Let me swatch number 6 too. I'm so disorganized, although I really tried. Wait, I already had number 5. I thought I had number 6. I'm so stupid. It's okay. I'll look at the return policy. I really thought I had number 6. This is so funny. Oh, I'll take care of that later. Let's go and apply Spice that I know for sure I do not have. That is beautiful, as I saw in store, and I do like. It is beige, but it's not stark beige on my skin tone, and especially paired with the liner. If I wanted to tone down the contrast a little bit, I could go in with number 4, But here, allow me to now swatch Lynette Stone. I have a few comparisons on standby. Lynette Stone, Suku's 109. Here's the last look with these blush comparisons if you want to take a screenshot. Setting up the lineup with Spice. And I already spoke about the Posh lipstick. It reminds me of Lisa's Rouge Experience lipstick, where it's a hybrid satin lipstick balm experience. Definitely not the light color of a balm, but the texture and just overall lightness of a balm, but with a lipstick sensibility and beautiful color payoff without appearing too heavy on the lip, if that makes any sense. I have Gucci's Glowing Care 113 Lynette Stone. Lynette Stone appears to be a little more of a, dare I say, neutral beige, and not as much color as the Posh lipstick. The Glowing Care is meant to be more of a hybrid tint type of a product. Still beautiful color payoff, maybe a little more shine left behind than the VBB Posh lipstick. And here is Suku's Fluid Lip Glow from Winter 2024 109 Fuyushijima. Is that what it's called? Hold on, I wrote it down. No, Fuyushijima, the Soothing Beige, a cocoa brown based beige. One of my most favorite lipsticks of life. Definitely more color than Spice, a lot more color than Lynette Stone, but this whole vibe is one of my favorite vibes to visit many times. I wonder how it will look like with Gesha. Another experiment to try. And I love the brow pencil. The color is perfect. Again, this is medium brown. It's hard to see on camera, but in person, the light brown I thought was a better fit for my skin tone and overall look for a softer shading of the brows. Now it's time to look at this liner. I know I've been waiting, going in with Terracotta. You're like, where's Bordeaux, Alicia? I decided to leave Bordeaux behind because when I swatched it, it is burgundy. And I didn't know if I wanted that much color, especially since I already have Prada Liner's Mahogany, which I think pairs beautifully with the Eye Wardrobe Bordeaux. And if you don't know, Satin Kajal liners are quite soft and easy to blend. And already I'm dying, just head over heels in love with how this is exactly what I was hoping for. Because with liners, it can be tricky, but with the Satin Kajal liners, since they are so soft, they can be easily blended and diffused as if you're applying a cream shadow. And this color, I think, will pair beautifully with Bordeaux. It will kind of lighten it a bit. In where the Satin Kajal liner with Bordeaux matched up with the Bordeaux matte, it will be a lot. And that's not to say that can't be beautiful, right? If you have that pairing, if you've been rocking it, yes, all the way. I just thought this would be better for the summer for me in terms of what I want to achieve with this eye look. And it is simply gorgeous. And I wanted to quickly show, I think I have room on this arm, what Terracotta looks like from VBB. But I also have Addiction Tokyo's gel liner on standby named Marron Terracatto. Totally different in terms of roll, but I can show you the color. So this is Addiction Tokyo. You see it's a little more red versus VBB's, but this is not gonna blend like the Satin Kajal liner. I think this is better suited for waterlining, although you can use a Satin Kajal for waterlining. This has, I think, a stronger set and more appropriate if you need to rely on a formula that is not gonna run, that's not gonna bleed. This will be for you. I cannot blend out the Addiction Tokyo liner like I can the Satin Kajal from VBB. No way. I could attempt to. I will have to be quick, but I'm not going to get the same diffuse finish as I get from Terracotta. This is just for the Satin Kajal. Unique to it. Just wanted to put that out there. If you happen to have this shade in the Addiction Tokyo gel liner, I could still probably use this on the waterline together with Terracotta, but that's the main difference. It's especially in the undertone, as you can see. They both can be considered terracotta for sure, but there's a little more brown in the VBB. I need to just do one eye. Please, can you just spare me? I need to go in with Bordeaux's golden satin bronze shade that, my goodness, over the liner. Oh my God, I'm just tossing it loosely through the crease already. It naturally is going to create that gradient that is absolutely beautiful. But we can also see what the burgundy is doing over the terracotta. It's going to give it a little more color, but because the terracotta base is lighter, this is what I want to achieve. Just a softer haze of color that's not as deep as if I dipped into Natasha Denona's retro, right? That is like dead rose type of a burgundy, which is what's in that Satin Kajal liner color. I wanted terracotta to kind of lighten up the burgundy hue purposely for summer, because you can't enough, move on. We gotta go into olive. Ooh, olive is just so pretty, and I cannot wait to swatch this antique looking metallic. Oh my God. Here is the refill. If you're not familiar, Victoria Beckham Beauty has a refill system with their eye palettes. Refill alone is $50. Still expensive, but oh my gosh, worth it. The larger pan size houses the color that you would predictably use the most, and ooh, caramel brown, can't get enough. Next up appears to be like a khaki-ish satin olive. Oh, that has a little bit of a gold sheen in there too. Huh. And we have this beautiful forest green matte. I was thinking about Lisa's liners in that forest color. With this, oh my goodness, that is lovely. I cannot wait to compare this to Desert Rose. Oh my gosh. Here it is, the antique metallic. Look at that shine. Oh, the reflectivity is insane. Insane. This is gonna be a fun video. When Desert Rose arrives, I am on it. Get ready, get all those ideas ready too, family. If you have any specific questions about the two palettes, put them down in the comments. I'm gonna leave this eye alone just so you can, you know, stare at it. Suku primer, tap, tap, tap. It doesn't have a lot of color, but it has nice adherence for the eyeshadows. Applying this soft caramel brown first, just so you can see what it does on my complexion through the crease, and it's going to give a soft contouring effect, not cool toned and not super warm either. I think this sits nicely around neutral, a little warm. You can see that caramel color coming through, and I could throw on cocoa or even terracotta all over the lid and then bring this caramel shade through the crease to add a little bit of that gradient. Dying to see this color in action all over the lid, just so that we can create a nice smoky haze effect. I'm starting on the base of the lash line and then carrying it up carefully so that it can meet with the caramel matte, and I'm using a big fluffy brush. This is the Yoshiki Koyudo Collab Bobodo eye set that I can gladly link down below. The ease of application and blend is ridiculous because this texture is satin but it's beautifully soft, has lovely fluidity, and the way it combines with the caramel, it doesn't look muddy whatsoever. It's as if the undertones are just perfectly complement each other. How did she figure that one out? But I have to see this metallic in action, even if it's just to gently, yes, as a spotlight effect on the center of the lid, and use your finger to just diffuse the edges so it doesn't appear like a ball of light, but more like a kind of like a shine of light. Oh, that by itself, just the green satin alone has a beautiful haze on the eyes, where I wanted a smoky eye but didn't want to go brown or black, right, with those shades. Something softer, not even with the peachy browns, okay. Just a lovely departure from your usual neutrals to create a smoky hazy eye. But again, the texture is unparalleled. The ease of application is laughable at this point. But let's also build on this eye, right? I can go in with the forest green matte and carefully tapping on the outer edges just to create a little more smoke if we wanted to build up the intensity. And the mattes are incredible as well, because you see how I'm layering, but it doesn't look harsh on the application, and immediately that smokiness dialed up a couple of notches, but I think easy to achieve, right? If I wanted to continue the smoke, I can definitely carry the shade under my lash line using a small brush to just control the application. I don't want it to appear too hazy, but I think just enough for the outer part of my lid to appear more comprehensive. And I could take the antique metallic, right? Ooh, nudging it here on the lower lash line, or even relying on it for highlight on the inner corner. Oh, that's pretty. That is pretty. Oh my gosh. Okay, so you had your fun with the terracotta eye. It's time to give Olive another chance to see how green we can go, meaning not going in with the caramel matte, but committing solely on the khaki olive satin and that forest matte. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, that's some strong liner color left behind. Let me quickly tap on some of my Burberry concealer just to clean up the canvas a little bit. I am applying a little bit on the eye. I wouldn't recommend that you use concealer for eye primer because it's not meant to hold up well for the lid, since the lid is a lot oilier than your under eye, right? But this is just for the sake of demonstration, but wanted to put that out there to not follow that step. This is just for the demo. Like I said, I wanted to fully commit to the green, and I'm taking a thicker brush purposefully to lay down more color. And this is how the green looks like by itself. If I didn't follow up with the caramel brown matte or didn't apply that first, I have to be careful because I want to follow up with the green, but I already took it out so far, meaning the green matte. And where is my, oh, I'm just gonna use this. This is my Chikuhodo and Bobo collab blender brush. It's a little stiffer than the red squirrel brush I use from Koyudo, and I purposely wanted to use this one. I think this is Tea Squirrel because it picks up more color, and I wanted to lay it down on both the outer lid and the inner lid. And then we'll take that matte across the crease rainbow, the crease bridge. This is the eye that can get out of hand, as you can see, because if I bring the color too far out, the blend has a tendency to look too blown out, where I'm just trying to be careful. And I think now definitely have to bring some of that green matte down on the lower lash line to match what I started at the top. So this is a lot more smoky. The first eye a little softer. You can see that one can achieve varying degrees of smoke depending on the brush, depending on your skill, which I'm not doing a very good job on at the second, but it's okay. This is my Kolinsky brush, which has a little more strength, but see, that's what I needed. I just had to kind of move that around a little bit. Now with this metallic, much kind of like what I did on the first eye, but deliberately creating this halo effect by placing it between that green matte application, but having that green satin underneath, I think enhances the color for sure. Just gives it a little bit of a boost. And of course, I'm applying that same shade here on the lower lash line, a little bit here on the inner corner as well. Ooh, we're getting smoky. My goodness. And I think Playground is perfect with this eye, because when it comes to green eyes, definitely having more of like a beigey, pinky nude situation on the cheeks doesn't interfere too much with what's going on in these green eyes smoke, which I think will be beautiful also with Desert Rose. Oh my gosh, I can't take it. Time to curl. Prada Scope, of course. Seeing how Gesha looks with Spice. Ooh, I like that too. I like that too. It's not as intense, but if I wanted a little more contrast, I could gently go in with number 5. Not number 6, Alicia. Just here on like the very tips. Ooh, I like that. All right, look is complete. And here is my final look from my Victoria Beckham Beauty haul. And what can I say? I'm happy that I didn't buy everything, like the lip gloss and the eye stylus or the eye crayon. Pretty much thrilled with everything. The only product that's kind of so-so is the Posh Balm in Canelle. I wanted a little more of a color payoff because on the photos, that's the impression it left me with, but it's fine. I think it's a cool balm and I'll continue to wear it. I'll wear it interchangeably with the Hermès too, so I could get a better handle of that comparison. But just to quickly go through, I think one of the top picks from this haul, definitely the Satin Kajal liner in Terracotta. The softness of that pencil and the color, just the best setup for creating a soft terracotta eye. Despite it being a pencil, it looks like I applied a cream product on my lid, and the way it pairs with Bordeaux, and I'm happy I didn't buy Bordeaux. It's a beautiful color, but this pairing I favor more over a retro more like eye, which my goodness, Bordeaux will look sensational when Natasha Denona's retro. Perhaps I'll buy it down the line when denim gets back in stock. Just something to think about. It's on the wish list. The lip definer in 5, my gosh, I'll look at Bluemercury's return policy because I could have sworn I had 4 and 6, but I also had 5. It's totally fine. Spice is beautiful. I had the opportunity to swatch the other Posh lipstick shades, and Fringe was pretty too. Fringe was more of like a brown shade that I kind of have already with Suku's Moisture Glaze in number 6. That's more like a mauve tone thing going on. Also, Kulfi Beauty's Tamarind is a similar shade. It's on the wish list, but not something I feel like I need right away. By far, I prefer this combination because the beigey tone brown lip liner combinations are just some of my all-time faves when it comes to the lip category. And although Fringe can be beautiful on its own, I also ordered Lisa's Ray lipstick refill from her summer collection, which is like a mauve chocolate. Stop it right now. I can't wait for that to arrive. The Babyblade Microfine Brow Pencil. I did not demonstrate this on camera, but I did apply it in store, and it's a great pencil. I can't wait to use this more often. Again, the color I felt was better suited for what I wanted to achieve in a brow shading type of a gig. And the pencil itself is easy to use, easy to maneuver, so happy with that purchase. The freaking cheeky Posh cream blush stick. This color is just perfect for an everyday light serving of blush. The contour stick, I gotta say, up there with the terracotta liner, but the contour stick surprised me the most. I tried it in store. I saw the color was beautiful, the texture was beautiful. It was until the finger blend on the foundation that signed me up, that subscribed me to this product, because those types of products can be tricky on top of foundations. You've experienced it where you apply your foundation, and it's the glow serum foundation, no less. It's not like a matte or has a strong hold on the skin like other foundations in the market. I went in with the finger tap, undisturbed, beautiful, smooth, even finish with the finger application. Didn't need to grab a blush. And the color itself, I can't get over the color. It's just the perfect serving of it. Not too warm, not too cool tone. I love the Isamaya stick, but sometimes cool tone looks are for another time. This, however, the shading, just stunning. Also gorgeous with the Playground cream blush stick. Oh, the pairing is outrageous. And lastly, the olive refill. Now I have 3 of the eye wardrobe refills: Victoria, Bordeaux, and now Olive. Olive is a great everyday, and I say that because of the caramel shade, but also before I went in with the green matte, okay, that satin khaki olive can be lovely for everyday too. If you love those smoky hazy moments that are just right in terms of the texture, not too shiny, not too dull, the finish is impeccable, but also the blendability of the powder, it just makes it foolproof. And if you wanted to go all the way with one of her lid lusters, because there's like an olive colored lid lusters that would just be outrageous with this palette. I didn't pick it up. I could have, but I left it there. Another time. I was just impressed by how easy it was to achieve this eye look, but despite it being smoky, I think it's lovely for the day. That's just me, right? That's where I sit on the spectrum of what I think is smoky appropriate. Everyone has their preference, but these tones make it, I think, accessible and also not as intimidating to wear these types of eyes. And it helps when the eye powder quality holds your hand in that routine, where no matter what brush you use or what have you, it just kind of blends itself. And I think that's a part of the experience with VBB. As far as what I've tried so far, ever since my first haul, I think it was in March, and now with this recent one today, I'm just beyond impressed by this makeup line. Wow, wow, wow. It took me a while to get here. Thank you for having me. Can I stay? And I cannot wait to see what else she develops, but just the elegance and sophistication, and I can definitely sense the intention too behind her brand. I definitely detect Victoria has a wonderful hold on color. Now you could argue it's tough for some with the eye wardrobes that if you wanted to wear highlight or use one of these colors for highlight, you probably have to dip out, because Bordeaux, for instance, that copper flash might be a little too dark for lighter skin tones, or even in Victoria, that like mint metallic is a little too dark. You could probably apply her reflex stick, or she has like an eye stylus that's a lighter color that you could use for a highlight. So there's opportunity in the brand for you to kind of finagle what will be best for your routine, but I'm just head over heels for this line. Everything will be in the June favorites, and I cannot wait to continue using this makeup. And let me know down below if I should add products to my wish list. Right now I have Bordeaux, denim, maybe another eye refill. The only ones I don't have are the smoky and blue ones, but I can wait on those. I don't have the lip gloss, but I'm plenty happy with Posh and Spice from the Posh lipsticks. The Posh Balm's okay. Don't know if I'll buy another color, but I'll continue to use it throughout the month. Contour stick though got me. She got me. I'm in. With that said, family, if you made it this far, make sure you click that thumbs up, like this video, as it helps me tremendously in letting the algorithm know that I'm worth watching and will recommend my videos to other beauty enthusiasts such as yourself. And consider subscribing, because we are doing that green eyeshadow video, okay? If you want to check out my first VBB haul or my Bordeaux review, you can click those videos here. I'll see you in those down in the comments for this video, and on here again next time.